oh, did I make a huge error? And part two, take two, starts now. Mark Passio, Natural Law Seminar. I was trying to upload stuff, and it turns out the channel got a video removed. And it's tough. It's hard to figure out fair use as a music reactor. And that's the gig that I fell backwards into. Mostly, I'm hoping I apply some of the teachings from the Natural Law Seminar and other places within Mark's vast body of knowledge and pepper that all into the channel. So I messed up, and the whole intro got done, and it turns out, yeah, hold on. Forgive me. I had to make sure it wasn't in the up church. So the very first part of the Natural Law Seminar, Mark's introduction of himself, comes in the up church Mark Passio tinfoil hat special. I think that came out today. I mean, it's been a long day. That's what happens when the house is empty. Weirdly enough, you could check out Solitude and Sativa, too. I was alone, not lonely. That all being said, and jokes aside, this was... we're segueing from the New Age movement and some other stuff, and I'm going to let Mark do his thing. And hopefully you'll hang out and check it out.
Community in the New Age movement regarding what the law or laws of attraction are. These are the real laws of attraction you're going to be hearing today and hopefully understanding today. So let's start in. The first section is about teachability, the teachability of the student, okay? How does a student place themselves in the best position to learn? An individual's teachability, or their ability to learn by way of being taught by someone else, is extremely dependent upon the open-mindedness or closed-mindedness of the individual being taught. Low teachability derives from arrogance and rigid skepticism. But it also derives...
Okay, and first time through, I admitted that arrogance I'm steeped in some days. I'd love to be the star of the story. I'm not, but I have for 4 years been telling my personal story to my own self-amusement. So sometimes I get full of myself. I also believe I've been as open-minded as an individual can kind of be out front. In the end, I believe you do no harm, do what you will. And that is a complicated, position, but it works for me.
And rigid skepticism. But it also derives, low teachability also derives from naivete and gullibility. High teachability, on the other hand, derives from a balance between healthy skepticism and an open-minded willingness to learn and change. So we don't want rigidly skeptical people, okay, that don't have an open mind at all. And we don't want naive and gullible people that will accept everything they're told. We want to strike a balance between these two modes. This is called a teachability bell curve, okay? And down here is the mental state of the student, whether they are, and it goes from arrogance, cynicism, skeptical nature, a teacher, a student, and then up to being trusting, then being gullible, and then being outright naive. Okay, so that's the whole spectrum of teachability. The best position to learn is up here at the top of the bell curve. This means you will learn the most if you are here. And that means you're in the balance between teacher and student. It means that you're somewhat skeptical and you're also somewhat trusting. It means that you're able to hold a proposition in your mind without accepting it or rejecting it immediately. It means you will consider the information with an open mind, okay, somewhat trustingly, but also somewhat skeptically. All right? That's going to be the mental state we want to attempt to keep during the duration of this seminar, and therefore you will be in the best position to learn. Of course, as we already said, the poorest positions to learn, the things that, if you're in these mind states in arrogance and rigid skepticism and naivete and gullibility, you're not going to take very much away from this seminar. Okay? So we want to remain at the top of that bell curve if at all possible. Human beings should consider with great care where their information comes from, the source for the information. And this is because by refusing to present certain information and by influencing people to dismiss, to dissuade them from looking into certain information because they're telling you that it's unimportant or unnecessary to consider, many modern institutions like media, like so-called education institutions, are seeking to actually control human perceptions, or let's call it outright what it really is, to control the mind, okay? And therefore, to limit what human beings may even come to understand, and therefore by limiting what they are coming to understand, they're actually limiting what they're able to do, what they're able to change, what they're able to create in the world, okay? So you have to be skeptical of where your information comes from. And that's why I tell people at the very beginning in my lectures, do not believe me. The worst thing you could do is believe what I'm telling you. You need to look into it for yourself, and most of all, you need to do personal introspection to really feel inside of yourself whether this information resonates with truth. Everybody has that intuitive capacity. That also has to be turned on and engaged and used. All right? If anybody is coming...
I did rant about this, so I will interrupt once again and say that I am indefinitely influenced by the next section. But when we get to the end of it, I also believe that I have taken a much higher road than the ultimate box you could come at this from. So I take a little self-respect from that. So, go on.
To this seminar from the perspective of modern, organized, institutional bodies, meaning political thought, political agendas, political organizations, religion, religious thought, religious organizations. I'm talking about organized religion here, okay? What I call scientism, not real science, but scientism, science as set up.
Yeah, I got a strike for that, for telling the truth about some of the lies that they were spreading. I guess there I didn't understand fair use either. Or I really needed to be on Rumble.
By institutional bodies to be rigidly skeptical belief systems that blot out anything that could possibly say anything to the contrary of their pre-existing beliefs. I call that scientism. Okay? And of course, the New Age movement, which you could group that in with religion. It's just it's for those who don't fall into the religious mindset. This is an alternative religion proposed for them, and they call it the New Age movement. And I tell people, please don't think this is going to concur with any of these belief systems, with any of these boxes for consciousness. This presentation is going to shatter these boxes. It stands outside of all of these because these are limiters for perception and thought. They want to place everything in a box.
Let's hear that again.
Boxes. It stands outside of all of these because these are limiters for perception and thought. They want to place everything in a box, say nothing outside of this box is fit for human consumption, so do not go there. And
so, ever wonder why instead of just doing music reactions, we love Tinfoil Hat Tuesday? Because even if I find it interesting fiction, it allows me to think outside of a mainstream narrative that I have bitched and complained about for 4 years as one of the most controlling systems. I mean, it just, hearts and minds every day. Feel this, feel that. Mob up, grab a pitchfork and a torch. Let's go.
As a result, they act as a mind control influence. The other and biggest limiter of the human perceptions and the mind, and ultimately of our behavior, is money itself. If you want to talk about the biggest religion, if these other religions aren't big enough and powerful enough for you, there's the one that is the ultimate power in the world, the ultimate religion, the God of this world, if you will. Okay? So what I'm basically saying here is, if you're already in a mindset approaching the, let's call it the discovery of reality, or the exploration of reality from any of these perspectives, you will be sorely disappointed here today by what you're...
Now we could tie something together to A$AP Rock right here, because we learned that in his mission, he fell short of changing the world, and it put him in a depressive state. But being an artist and contractually obligated to make... Now, I'm not knocking on this, and I don't know him well enough. But I can see where having to serve dual masters can get complicated, especially with the depth of his bars. Upchurch, still some pretty deep bars there, if country flavored and straight from the holler. But doesn't really have to serve any other masters but himself. And, seems to be able to laugh off some stuff where maybe A$AP got, maybe hoped it could have reached more people than it actually did, but because it's, maybe it's a bad example as well. I'm not sure. But I do see how having to serve multiple masters is tough and problematic.
You're going to hear, because the information here falls well outside of any of these institutional limiters for consciousness, okay? The requirements for creating change and the role of knowledge. Let's talk about these concepts for a moment.
I believe this is where this one ends. Now, I think it went 20 minutes the first time, but I'm going to get back on track, and it turns out, getting a copyright strike. I had a video removed, so like I said, they're sending me to copyright school if I want it wrapped up. Otherwise, I hope I don't get 2 more in 90 days, and it just goes away, because it turns out, petty's petty. I have 5,000 examples of fair use. Why were they special? And you can never find out, so it doesn't matter. Mark Passio, Natural Law Seminar, Tinfoil Hat Tuesday. Today's actually still Tuesday, the first day of this all. It'll get spread over weeks, but I've been going a little long and hard. And I think I gotta have lunch. I might be getting hangry. And the cat's bugging me. Got all kinds of stuff going on. But I'm going to make sure this is where the next one picks up. And if it's true, we'll get on to part 4 already. And I think there'll be one more today, even though part 3 is next. And remember, the knowledge, not me, not even Mark, the knowledge is what I'm really trying to share. And I go buy his shit again just to make these videos. I really do think you should go support him. And if the knowledge base interests you, go look into what he's put together. It's very cool. Big fan. But all right.